see Manny Pacquiao beating me, and before he beat me, he got a better chance of becoming a driving instructor.
The drama surrounding this fight didn't begin under the bright lights of the arena. It started months earlier, in press conferences filled with laughter, mockery, and bravado, where confidence blurred into arrogance and respect disappeared entirely. On one side stood Adrien Broner, loud, charismatic, unpredictable fighter who had built his reputation as much on personality as performance. On the other stood Manny Pacquiao, the quiet storm, an 8-division world champion whose legacy had already been carved into boxing history long before this matchup was signed. It was the classic collision between noise and substance, between a man still trying to prove he belonged among the greats and another who had spent decades proving he already did. Broner's words came easily. He mocked Pacquiao's age, his size, his career choices, even his cultural identity. He laughed at the idea that the Filipino legend could threaten him, insisting that Pacquiao had a better chance of becoming something entirely unrelated to boxing before ever beating him. To Broner, this wasn't a dangerous challenge, it was supposed to be a statement victory, a moment that would relaunch his own career while positioning him for bigger paydays. Perhaps even a rematch scenario involving Floyd Mayweather Jr., the man both fighters had shared history with. Broner treated the build-up like theater, leaning into his problem persona, talking loudly, smiling widely, and promising domination. But boxing has always been brutally honest when the bell rings. The sport doesn't care about press conferences or predictions. It only cares about execution. January 19, 2019. Arrived with the electricity only a Las Vegas fight night can produce. Inside the legendary MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, thousands of fans gathered to witness what many believed might be the final chapter of Pacquiao's elite career. At 40 years old, he was supposed to be fading. Time is undefeated. After all, fighters slow down, reflexes dull, endurance slips. That's the natural order. Analysts questioned whether Pacquiao could still handle a younger, naturally bigger opponent like Skeptics wondered if the legend's incredible run had finally reached its expiration date. Yet there was something different in Pacquiao's demeanor that night. Calm, focused, almost surgical. He had heard the jokes, the insults, the dismissive comments. But Pacquiao had spent his entire life answering doubt with action. From poverty in the Philippines to global superstar, his career was built on proving people wrong. When the bell rang for the opening round, reality began to separate itself from the narrative Broner had created. Pacquiao moved first. His feet, once feared for their blinding speed, still carried the rhythm of a master. He circled, darted, shifted angles with subtle precision. Broner, typically comfortable counterpunching, seemed hesitant, as though waiting for something that never arrived. Pacquiao's jab snapped forward. A left hand followed. Then another combination. The crowd reacted immediately. There was no visible decline, no obvious aging. Instead, there was the familiar storm that had overwhelmed champions across multiple weight classes. Broner tried to respond with his trademark right-hand counters. But Pacquiao's timing disrupted everything. The Filipino southpaw wasn't just throwing punches, he was dictating tempo. He controlled distance, entered and exited exchanges on his own terms, and forced Broner into a reactive posture. For a fighter who thrived on confidence and swagger, being forced into hesitation was already a dangerous position. Round after round, Pacquiao accumulated points with disciplined aggression. He attacked the body, then the head. He feinted, stepped around Broner's guard, and fired combinations before slipping out of range. The younger fighter had moments occasional clean shots that reminded everyone of his talent, but they were isolated flashes rather than sustained momentum. The contrast in output became impossible to ignore. Pacquiao was working. Broner was waiting. By the middle rounds, the dynamic had fully crystallized. Pacquiao wasn't just competing, he was schooling. His experience manifested in small details. The angle of his shoulders when he attacked, the way he anticipated counters, the subtle shifts in foot placement that kept Broner off balance. Even when Broner landed, Pacquiao absorbed the punches with composure and returned fire immediately, erasing any psychological advantage. Then came the sequences that changed the emotional tone of the fight entirely. Pacquiao surged forward with combinations that snapped Broner's head back. A straight left landed clean. A hook followed. Broner's legs wobbled slightly. An instinct took over. He clinched, wrapping his arms around Pacquiao to slow the assault. For a moment, the arena sensed vulnerability. The younger fighter, the one who had promised domination, looked hurt. Pacquiao pressed again. Another barrage. Broner retreated toward the ropes, forced into survival mode. Conditioning kept him upright, but the message was clear. Pacquiao still carried danger, still possessed power, still had the instincts of a predator. What made the performance remarkable wasn't just the punches, it was the discipline. Pacquiao didn't rush recklessly. He maintained structure, choosing moments carefully. That patience reflected the maturity of a veteran who understood championship boxing at its deepest level. As the championship rounds approached, urgency became Broner's only hope. He needed a dramatic shift knockdown, momentum swing. something decisive. Instead, Pacquiao continued to outmaneuver him. Even when fatigue showed slightly, the Filipino legend compensated with positioning and timing. He didn't need youthful explosiveness anymore. He relied on intelligence. Broner, meanwhile, remained trapped between caution and desperation. His right hand, theoretically his most dangerous weapon, rarely landed cleanly. Pacquiao's lateral movement neutralized it, and with every passing round, the scorecards drifted further away. By the final bell, the outcome felt inevitable. The judges confirmed it. Unanimous decision. Pacquiao retained the WBA welterweight championship under the banner of the World Boxing Association. The legend had not only defended his title, he had reaffirmed his relevance at an age when most fighters are long retired. But the story didn't end with the decision. It took an unexpected turn during the post-fight interview. Broner, emotional and defiant, insisted he had won. He claimed he controlled the fight, landed the cleaner punches, and was robbed. Statistics contradicted him. Observers contradicted him. Even the interviewer's calm questions highlighted the disparity between perception and reality. Yet Broner doubled down, shouting out his supporters, proclaiming loyalty to his hometown, and rejecting the official result entirely. In that moment, the contrast between the two fighters became almost symbolic. Pacquiao represented humility, grounded in accomplishment. Broner represented confidence, detached from outcome. One accepted reality, the other resisted it. For Pacquiao, the victory was another chapter in a story already filled with improbable achievements. He had defied age, criticism, and expectation once again. For Broner, the night became a lesson, one that boxing often delivers harshly. Talent alone isn't enough. Discipline, preparation, and respect for the opponent matter. The fight also served as a reminder of boxing's unforgiving truth. Reputations can be built with words, but they are judged with punches. Pacquiao's performance echoed across the sport because it challenged assumptions about aging fighters. He wasn't supposed to look that sharp. He wasn't supposed to dominate exchanges against a younger man. Yet he did. His speed, though slightly diminished from his prime, remained elite enough when paired with experience. His conditioning held up over 12 rounds. Most importantly, his competitive fire burned just as intensely as it had decades earlier. For Broner, the loss added to a complicated career narrative. He had flashes of brilliance throughout his journey, multiple titles across divisions, impressive victories, undeniable skill. But inconsistency and distractions often undermined him. Against Pacquiao, those issues became impossible to ignore. He fought cautiously when urgency was required. He relied on counters that never materialized consistently, and when defeat arrived, he rejected it instead of analyzing it. Fans left the arena with two lasting images. One was Pacquiao, smiling modestly, belt around his waist, proving once again why he was considered one of the greatest fighters ever. The other was Broner, animated and defiant, insisting the outcome didn't reflect reality. In the broader context of boxing history, nights like this carry deeper meaning. They show how greatness endures, not just through physical ability, but through mindset. Pacquiao didn't need to prove anything anymore. His legacy was secure, yet he still trained like a contender, still approached the fight with hunger. That mentality separated legends from contenders. The bout also demonstrated karma in its purest sporting form. Months of ridicule met 12 rounds of consequence. Words met action, and action won decisively. Years later, the fight continues to be discussed not because it was the most violent or dramatic contest ever, but because of what it represented. It was a moment when experience humbled arrogance, when preparation defeated bravado, and when a veteran reminded the world that greatness doesn't fade, quietly it demands acknowledgement. For Pat, it was another affirmation of immortality in the sport. For Broner, it was a crossroads moment, a chance to reflect on what might have been different with more discipline and focus. And for fans, it was a powerful reminder that in boxing, reality always arrives when the bell